A Protest Guide for People Power 3. Chapter 1. From Strikes to Egg Revolutions. A general strike where lots of people hit the streets. Our problem as activists against the tyranny of the fake democratic governments we have now is that we are an accepted part of the scenery that nobody listens to. We are the malcontent misfits. The politicians and rich people controlling the media and the money know that by ignoring us, we don't get on the news, so nothing big ever happens to change the government. I hear the folks at Flashpoints, FSRN, Alternative Radio, and Democracy Now! All the time, and I think to myself, they're saying wise words, but nobody cares except for the choir that is already there. We need to go big so the whole world sees that there is some kind of big revolution going on. We need 1 million people to show up somewhere and say we want to vote on the People Power Program/PPP to change our government. Set a date in the future about a week away. Tell everybody do not show up for school or work on that day. Set up a massive one-day protest for that day. Say everybody meet at the Parliament building for a concert. Set up your stage in advance. Have your musicians and speakers ready. Tell the government and the cops to bring in some toilets, EMTs, and peaceful cops. That is all we want. The right to vote to change our structure of government that will eliminate every politician in the national government except for one leader and give the power to the people. The Egg Revolution. Go all the way back to the Polish Solidarity movement in the 1980s to now. The only thing that really toppled governments was large numbers of people gathered together, not just for an afternoon but for weeks on end, if necessary. You have to get a big crowd to your parliament buildings to prove you can get at least 1 million citizens out who want the People Power Program/PPP to become the law immediately. You need a unique hook to go along with it in order to send a direct message to your leader that you're not messing around with your demands. My suggestion is what I call the egg revolution. Everybody brings eggs, preferably a dozen in a carton. If the stores run out of eggs, bring milk, honey and flour mixed together in glass bottles. Legally, I'm not allowed to incite people to create an illegal disturbance as in egging the parliament buildings, which would be the criminal act of vandalism, so I'm not going to tell you, the people, what to do. You can send a powerful message throwing millions of eggs at anything. You can throw them at your parliament buildings, or you can get several artists to stitch together some big white canvases, paint a picture of your leader's face on it, then drape it up on the front entrance of your parliament buildings. Put up live camera feeds. Activist leaders start off saying why they're egging their president's facial image one by one, then throw their eggs. People line up, say why they're egging their leader's face, then throw their eggs. If you want to send an angry message, 12 million eggs plastered over the parliament buildings is a good symbol, short of burning them down, to tell the ruling politicians that they don't own the country. We, the people, do. Such an act will embarrass any leader on the world stage, his own people symbolically lynching him. It sends a message straight and clear without bloodshed. If your leader refuses to set up an e-voting system to vote on the People Power Program/PPP, set up a second Egg Revolution Day, highly publicized so everyone will know about it. Your leader will do his best to try to prevent 1 million citizens from egging Parliament. His goon squad will be there. It doesn't matter much though, because everybody will be there filming it. If you use violence against your own people for demanding greater democracy, then your credibility is gone. You're not a worthy leader anymore. 1,000 cops are no match for a mob of 1 million people. If there are 1,000 cops, they are outnumbered 1,000 protesters to every one cop. They can be easily swarmed, their uniforms taken and left wearing only their underwear, or spray paint yellow non-toxic paint on them to embarrass them. When we were kids, we used to make splatter balloons by filling balloons up with water then throwing them. You could have a frontline team with yellow paint balloons throwing them at the cops to splatter on their shields, visors and uniforms. Rotten fruit is good too. If they know what's good for them, they would stand down and let it happen. Before the protest, if the head police guy has any balls, he'll say the People Power Program/PPP is the right thing for the country. The federal police will not interfere with the protesters. I doubt this will happen, but it could. Do not let the cops do what they did to the Occupy protests. They bullied the protesters out of everywhere. We need a massive number of people there to show that we have the power to force a change in government. You have to show up to show that we, the people, are the government, not a small group of elitist politicians. Another possibility is to buy those little flags for $1 or so, turn them around so they're upside down, then have everybody hold them up for a photograph that will symbolize the protest and be in the newspapers. There was a cool movie about a revolution in Britain called V for Vendetta, where there was a mob scene with thousands of people showing up at Parliament wearing Guy Fawkes masks to watch it burn. That was a unified protest. That's people power. It would look great on the worldwide news, 1 million people wearing masks, throwing eggs. The type of mask doesn't matter. You could easily make your own with a piece of cardboard and some rubber bands. Before you leave, throw the masks off, leaving them there on the ground for the media to film after the protest is over. 1 million masks laying on the ground next to the backdrop of a huge egged national leader canvas on the Parliament buildings would be a powerful symbol in the history of revolutions. Protest is not just for young people. We have to show solidarity by having old people out there too. There's a funny Canadian protest movie from 2009 called The Trotsky. It shows that people are mostly apathetic, but the few extremists are the ones who get things done. Many egg revolutions everywhere all the time. There is a guy by the name of Popovich who I heard on the radio describing how a dozen students toppled their Serbian dictator. His name was Slovan Milokovic or something like that. Do small nonviolent acts that seem kind of funny and innocuous, but keep doing them thousands of times. The police can't arrest you for doing something that seems to make fun of your president in a harmless way. They went around to shopping centers with a dummy doll of their president which they hung up and offered people a baseball bat to take a hit at it for a nickel. They informed the media in advance. When the cops showed up, there was nobody to arrest. You can't arrest a crowd of shoppers. There was always a picture on the news of this dummy of the president and some kid or old lady hitting it with a baseball bat. All we need is a poster of our president or prime minister that you get at an office supply store for about $10 with an X over his face implying we don't want him anymore, and in small lettering, we want the People Power Program /PPP right now. If you have an activist website, put it on the poster like peopilapower.ca, peopilapower.cz, peopilapower.pk. Go anywhere like the front entrance of a shopping mall. Call a flash mob on Twitter or on the activist website. Call the media in advance so they're there. Have your own guy videotaping it. Have it on YouTube Live. Bring tape, glue, hammer and nails or a flimsy wooden frame to hang the poster up so it's clearly visible. Have the activists all wear nondescript black clothing with dark glasses, a hoodie, or a bandana over the face. The group assembles to cause a minor ruckus when the poster goes up. Everybody throws their eggs or rotten fruit. Someone calls the cops. Everyone walks away. The cops show up. They see the egged poster of the president. There is no one there to arrest. It was just a minor gag. It's on the nightly news. Do this 1,000 times across the country. Never stop until we get the People Power Program /PPP. Urine Revolution /Piss Revolution. YouTube.com, Vimeo.com, and the others probably will take down videos of people shown from the waist down urinating on a picture of their president or prime minister, but if you set up your own website, you can host pissing videos. Call it something like pissonojoebiddensface.com. People piss on pictures of their elected leader while saying statements like, "We want to vote on the People Power Program /PPP right now." Have 10 friends drink beer for a while, then all take turns pissing on your leader's face. Have a beer piss on PM's face party. They film it and upload it to the website where anyone can watch and the news networks can report on it. 10,000 videos uploaded to such a website will have a holistic negative effect on your leader. He or she will know they cannot beat the people. It's non-violent, but it's really effective. Flash mob protests. People create flash mobs just for fun where they tell a bunch of people to show up somewhere and dance around or do something silly for 10 minutes then leave. Get the demand for the People Power Program/PPP on the news everywhere all the time. Create a flash mob of any group of people like your followers on Twitter or friends on Facebook. Pick the biggest intersection in your town. You want to block traffic for 10 minutes while you hold up some signs demanding the People Power Program/PPP and chant, "We want the People Power Program/PPP now." Call the local TV news shows. Tell them to show up. When your friends show up, have them wait on the sidewalk until there are at least 35 of you, then walk out into the intersection and occupy it long enough for the media to get a shot. That's all you need. If somebody does this once a day somewhere in the country, that's enough to make the national news several times a week. Some protesters call the cops in advance, tell them about the protest and tell them to do traffic control for 15 minutes or so. Some protesters just do the flash mob, then by the time the cops show up, they're done anyway. Grade school and college students can do flash mobs after class. Most teachers don't want to have anything to do with a protest because they're afraid they will get fired, but the students in a class or at a school can make up some signs, then when classes are over, walk to the nearest big intersection and occupy it for 20 minutes. Call up the local TV news shows and the newspaper and tell them you got a flash mob for the People Power Program/PPP. Don't do it just once. Do it every day in a different place until we get the People Power Program/PPP. Think up ways to screw people up, like a protest on the entrance to a bridge. Some guys went down to the biggest office building in town, which had rails for doorknobs. They stuck boards in between them so people couldn't get out of the building while they occupied the sidewalk just for enough time to get on the news. Create a minor nuisance multiplied by 10 million. Create an 8.5 x 11-inch sheet of paper with your president's face on it with an X over it and the message, "We want the People Power Program." If you have an activist website, put it on the poster like peopilapower.ca, peopilapower.ae, peopilapower.au. Put this online in digital form as a JPG file. Tell people to print out hundreds of copies, then use tape, glue, and staples to put them everywhere that will cause a nuisance. Stop signs, road signs, mailboxes, school doors and windows, government vehicles, government buildings, lampposts, trees, monuments, park benches. Anywhere. Get kids to think up creative places to glue them to and take a video to post on YouTube with their faces covered up. Send these videos to local TV news shows. Keep the nuisance going. That's how you wear the old guard down. They know they can't win against the relentless dissent of the people. I do not see our politicians doing the right thing and setting up an electronic voting system so we can vote to change the government to People Power Program/PPP, so we're going to have to fight them for it. We're going to win with a massive show of people uniting in dissent against our fake democracy, corrupt governments, doing little protests wherever we are every day. That is how we will win, by keeping the pressure on every day. It will have to culminate with a massive protest at the national government buildings, but until then, do the small protests. Create a website or YouTube channel where people say that politicians have not helped them better their lives. The most obvious fact that almost nobody talks about is that politicians do not do much to help regular people live better lives. On the news, they're always talking about foreign affairs, war, interest rates, climate change, and the economy in a general way, but ask the regular person on the street, what has your president or what have politicians in general done to help improve your life? Create a website or YouTube channel where multi-thousands of people post up their comments live on video about what their politicians do or don't do to help them. Some people could go on the street and do street interviews. If you have a local cable access TV station, set up a show and put it on. Politicians don't do much to help people. Show the people saying what they really think of the state of the country and the politicians. Hang bed sheets with a message everywhere. I was watching a show about an election in Africa. They painted their messages onto bed sheets. Our message would be the People Power Program/PPP. They hung them up on trees all over the place. If they're high enough, nobody will knock them down for a while. You can get an old bed sheet, a small can of paint, a paintbrush, and some rope to tie it to something, and you're ready to create a pretty good symbol of activism. Hang them everywhere.